Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clickbait and Coffee. And we're going to give it a minute to see who all is in here. We've got a couple comments already this morning. Rose, good morning from Indiana. And Forrest from Alabama. He says, what's up, everybody? Good morning. And Chantel, good morning, everyone from Western Kentucky. Chantel, how are you doing this morning? If y'all can hear me, give me a 2x4 in the chat. Greg Skeens is here too. And Forrest was the first one in here. So, Forrest, are you working today or are you screwing around? So, guys, truth in advertising on this. Jessica, the combat midwife, she was scheduled to be on here this morning with me, and she texted me last night, and she was like, hey, I've got one of my patients is going into labor, and I've got to go and deliver her baby. So I'm like, okay. She had told me it was a possibility, and I'm like, hey, that's totally fine. So I had to jump back and regroup last night and get some stuff going. I was like, I've got an easy time. I was like, I don't have to come up with anything. We can talk to Jessica for an hour about her class that she's got coming. But she's got a patient in labor, so we're going to try to see. I'll call her Saturday or Sunday and see if we can get her on here Tuesday. So sorry that she's not on here, but the baby couldn't wait. So, all right. Miss Sharon, good morning. Bill, good morning. Andrew Massey, good morning. Forrest, my to-go restaurant is open on Saturday, so I'll cook all day Friday. All right. And yes, babies come first. You can't tell the baby, hey, hold on a minute. We've got to do an interview. So, but yeah, we'll try to get her on Tuesday of next week. I'll give her a shout and see what's going on with that. So hopefully the baby and her patient are all going to do fine. So, all right. Hey, before I forget, Retro Warrior Coffee, get it. It's retrowarriorcoffee.com. Use the code Homestead50 to get 50% off a sample pack. She has not gotten me a code for subscriptions yet, and I've got to get on her. And I want to text her when we get done here and be like, hey, I need the code. People want coffee. So I will get you a code by Tuesday. It's been hectic for her. She's got a bunch of stuff going. I've had tons of stuff going too. We're trying to get all kinds of fun stuff going for y'all. So, but Combat Midwife, if y'all are interested in her class, she's going to be here October 25th in Bowling Green, Kentucky, doing her class. Use the code KSL to get you some money off. I think it saves $40 off the ticket price. That class is going to be pretty stinking fun. I am super interested in it. Excited about it, and it's an expensive class, but what you're going to learn in that class is going to be well worth that. So check that out if you're interested. That is October 25th in Bowling Green. It's going to be at the same place we have the festival at Western's Expo Center. So, and then Churn Dash Farms, good morning. And Bill, I have 200 feet of pig netting to put up still, and got to go to the feed store to pick up a handful of T-post. Well, Bill, have fun. It's gonna be another warm one today. They were saying that I saw somebody was saying that the temperatures were going to be like 10 to 20 degrees below normal, but I just looked. We're still going to be in the mid 90s for the next like 5 or 6 days, and then it's going to get a little bit cooler. So I'm ready for a little bit cooler weather, honestly. Local Preppers here. Good morning, LP. How are you? So we need to get you, and we need to talk to you and get you scheduled out for the next festival. So we've got like a year. So we've got a year to plan that. But we'll talk in the next few days about that. So also, land nav class that Mike Atkins is coming down. Mike's a retired Green Beret. Super knowledgeable in land navigation, and he's coming down. It's going to be November 8th and 9th. He's coming in, and we're going to have this at Barren River Lake State Park. Huge big state park for us to have this in. We're going to set the course up to where everybody can do land navigation, It's going to be a 2-day class. First day is going to be classroom setting. We're going to learn how to read maps, how to use your compass, all the classroom stuff. And then on Sunday, we're going to go out and run the course. And it's going to be pretty cool. We're going over all the logistics and stuff like that for it. And everybody's going to have their radio. Brian and Susan from S&B Homestead Radio are coming. They're going to set up a base station radio to where everybody should be able to have communications back and forth to our classroom where we're going to have everything. So I'm excited about that. I talked to Brian and Susan about it, and Brian's like, man, he said, that sounds fun. He was like, I want to be a part of this. So check that out. That's on the website. It's November 8th and 9th is the land nav class. And then also we'll get all this stuff out of the way. The herbal class, Leslie is going to teach Beyond the Basics of Herbalism. That is going to be December 6th. That's going to be at Western also, where we have the festival. It's going to be December 6th. She's going to go on past, everybody. We were talking the other day, and she's like, all these people come up and they're like, I know how to make a tincture. I know how to make a salve. What is the next step in this? So she's going to be teaching y'all the next step. If you already got that stuff down, we can go from there, and she's going to show you everything, how to use it for different things and all that. So I'm excited about that, but that's December 6th. And then if anybody's interested, August, it's coming up too. It's like 15 days away. October 30th or August 30th and 31st, tactical response. I'm going to be down there doing immediate action medical, taking that class. I've heard awesome things about it. I bought it at the charity dinner that we had. Bought it, and I'm going down there. So if anybody wants to come hang out down there at TAC Response for the weekend with me, run over to Tactical Response's website and sign up for that. I'm super, super excited about that. I love going to medical classes and learning different stuff about this and how guys teach different things. So it's going to be a fun weekend. And then also radios. We have got all our radios in. You can see them back here, a couple handhelds. I've got the base stations over in front of me sitting there. But we went together with Brian and Susan from S&B Homestead Radio. Love Brian and Susan. We were talking to them, and we're like, hey, what if we do programmed radios for your location, set up radio packages that y'all can use, and then y'all will do the consultations for them. And they're like, man, that sounds pretty cool, because nobody is really doing any consultation stuff afterwards. So yeah, you can buy the radio, they'll program it for your area, and then they send it to you, and it's like, figure it out on your own. So we've got Brian and Susan. Our radio packages include everything you need to get started. They're going to be programmed, and then after you get your radio, let you play with it on your own for a few days, and then Brian and Susan will schedule a consultation with you, a video consultation, usually about 30 minutes, and they're going to go over the basics on how to use the radio, any questions you've got, stuff like that. So I was like, this is going to be pretty stinking fun. And then also sometime in January, probably, they're going to come up and we're going to do almost a radio class, but it's going to be pretty fun. So stay tuned for that. We've got to set the date on it and see. And then also, if you're at the land nav class, we're going to have radio. So if you got some questions, Brian and Susan will be there, so you can ask them a few questions in between the land nav stuff. So, all right, guys, I want y'all to chime in this morning. What I've got is, let me see what Bill said. I'm getting a tripod soon to aid in making videos. Bill, I tell you what, the best I bought, let me see if I can get it. This is what I use. A sun pack. That's what I use, and I got this at Best Buy. I don't know if you've got a Best Buy in Jackson or not, but that's what I've got. And you can put your iPad on it. You can put your iPhone on it. It comes down into a small package where you can pack it around and everything. But that's typically what I use. What I've got, I'm on my iPad right now, and I've got just one of the small desktop tripods that I use for this. But I tell you, once you start getting into doing tripods and stuff like that, you'll have more tripods than you know what to do with. I think I've got 4 of them right now just for different stuff. So, yeah, get you a good tripod. Also, get you a good selfie stick. Those come in handy a bunch. I have yet to have one of those. Most of the time, I just set up a tripod and move it around as I go. So, but yeah, check. Amazon's got a bunch. I mean, heck, you could do Amazon and have it in 2 days if you don't have a Best Buy around. So, all right. Since Jessica is not going to be here, I came up with a topic last night, and I started making notes and all that fun stuff with it. And it's how to develop a family emergency plan. So your family emergency plan, everybody needs one. One of the things you got to do, especially, and you can take this family emergency plan anywhere from, we've got a small little natural disaster all the way up to, an EMP strike. So it's good to have these plans. I've developed one for my family. I'm not going to give away everything we're going to do with my family just for OPSEC, but we've got a family emergency plan that I've been working on. My wife knows about it. My brother knows about it. My mom knows about it. And we've tweaked and made some stuff like that. So tell me in the comments if y'all have a family emergency plan in place and kind of what it is. Kind of give me the gist of it and how you thought about coming up with your family emergency plan. So tell me some of that. Help me out. I love reading your comments and talking about that stuff. It's not near as much fun me just sitting up here talking the whole time. So give me some of your comments on that, and we'll start off. All right. Define the first step you ought to do is define the threats that you're going to be planning for. So, I mean, some of the threats that you can look at, massive grid failure, the whole grid goes down, or the grid just goes down in, your local area, and it's going to be down for a while. So massive grid failure, economic collapse, civil unrest, a pandemic 2.0. We've already lived through the pandemic, so we kind of got our feet wet on that. So we kind of had some planning on that. Of course, it's, run out and get toilet paper. What was everybody buying? Toilet paper, paper towels. So I don't know. I would like to see how many people still have toilet paper from when the pandemic came through. So that was kind of funny. All right. So a pandemic, war or terrorist act, an EMP, or some kind of natural disaster. My thing, if you're preparing for an EMP, you're pretty much ready for anything else. So, I mean, an EMP is going to shut down all your services. It's going to shut down the internet. It's going to shut down electricity, all that stuff. So it's kind of like if you're preparing for an EMP, you're prepared for a natural disaster. You're prepared for a pandemic, anything like that. So define what look and think is what is going to be the most probable in your situation. So some of the stuff, like we don't have to really be worried too much about hurricanes unless they're a manufactured hurricane like we saw over in North Carolina and Tennessee. So we don't have to worry too much with hurricanes here in Kentucky. We do have to worry about tornadoes, and then we're close to the New Madron Fault. So you've kind of got to take earthquakes in. Let me see. LP. Pandemic toilet paper is still in stock at LP's house. I'm not going to lie. I still have a ton of toilet paper stocked up from then, but I always keep a big stock of toilet paper here anyway. And my wife asked me last night, she was like, hey, do we still have toilet paper? And I'm like, yes, we still got toilet paper. Why wouldn't we? She's like, okay, I was just checking. She's like, bring some up from the basement. So, and then let me see. Bill, all my family lives in Oregon, so unfortunately they're all on their own. Yes, that would be a heck of a evac plan to get to Oregon if a major natural disaster hit. So, yeah, and it's got a few packs left over. I think everybody has a few packs left over, and if you don't have a few packs left over, you're probably lying to all of us, I would say. And then Miss Sharon, most of my family think I'm a tinfoil hat wearing dummy. Well, they will think that until something happens, and then they're all going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to come to your place." And hopefully, you're going to be like, "No, you're not going to do that unless you're bringing stuff." I mean, that's what I would do with mine, and be like, "No, you thought I was stupid for all this time, and now I've proved right. So, hey, we're not going to do that." And Bill, I tried setting them up before I left, and they messed it up, and lost the 9,000-watt generator I brought them for running the majority of the water and other necessities. Yeah, that I don't know. Sometimes family's awesome, and sometimes they suck. I mean, most of all my immediate family right around here are great. Uh, some of my family members I don't ever talk to very much, so it's like, okay, whatever. So, but planning for what could go wrong. What's everybody in here planning for? Are y'all planning natural disasters, total grid down, civil unrest, terrorist stuff, EMPs? What is everybody's planning for here? I would be interested. I'm planning. I kind of go with the EMP deal because if you got an EMP, you're pretty well set for everything else. So I like to do everything as far as we can. We've got food stored here. We've got means to produce more food. We've got water storage and collection, medical supplies, all of that stuff. So what's everybody else planning for and stuff like that? So, and Rose, with a family of 11, we always have toilet paper on hand. I can see that for sure. They're generally speaking, let me see, Bill. They're generally speaking morons. Yeah. And LP is hurricanes and economy. Yeah, LP, you were talking the other day, and I called it after you were live. Isn't there a hurricane coming up through? I hadn't watched the weather. I caught a glimpse of it. And you were talking about the hurricane. You're like, we're not a weather station, but we're going to talk about this for a little bit. So you've got a hurricane coming up through you. And then Bill, all of the above is what I'm prepping for. Exactly. And then Michael Osborne, EMP or government economy failure. I think the biggest thing probably right now, honestly, is the government or the economic failure, in my opinion. So, I mean, they say that we're not, they say we're not in a recession and the economy's getting better and all this stuff, and we've got more jobs coming and everything's getting good. I hadn't seen the price of stuff go down. So, I mean, everybody was like, Trump, our Lord and Savior, is going to save everybody. He ain't saved shit, in my opinion. So he's trying to do some stuff, but then on the other hand, he's causing more trouble as far as, the crap with bombing Iran and all this, and in bed with, the nation state Israel. So I hadn't seen prices come down. We've got, destabilization in places. It's like, I'm not really excited about that. So honestly, Michael, I'm with you. Government or economic collapse is probably pretty imminent in my opinion. Good morning, Lawrence. Lawrence says EMP or financial collapse. Yeah. Let me see. Churn Dash Farms. I'm planning for grid down. I figure if I can mitigate power outages, we can survive. Yeah, exactly. And that goes back. I mean, your power outage stuff, have some solar generators sitting there. Have, if you need massive amounts of power for a little bit of stuff, have your generators, have plenty of fuel. I'm working on building a bigger battery bank for the house is one of my things that I want to get going pretty quick. I've got solar panels. I need a few more solar panels, and I want a massive battery bank down here in my basement that we can use and hook the solar panels up to. and do it that way. That's one of the projects I'm going to be working on this fall as soon as I get extra cash saved up for that. Let's see. Chantel, I'm planning for life with no services. I'm already semi off grid. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Try to mitigate and try to do as much stuff as you can off the grid or with your community, and that's going to help you so much more than just eating, running to Wendy's every day and getting that. Cook at home, do some stuff like that. Let's see, Forrest. I think everywhere will turn into San Francisco. I'm preparing for it to be unsafe when you leave your property. Yeah. I mean, hell, look at it. Look at some places now. People, at night, people are like, I'm afraid to go outside in certain cities and stuff like that. I mean, there's places like that are just, boom, we're not going out after dark. I mean, in a lot of these big cities, that's what it is. And mainly tornadoes and economics, too high for flooding. Yeah. Well, I tell you, there's Hopkinsville. I was scrolling through and looking at some stuff on Facebook. Apparently, Hopkinsville yesterday got some flash flooding stuff. So you can never rule it out. Let's see. Bill. The way things are going, I don't believe that the government is helping anything get any more stable. Hey, I'm right there with you. It's not going to get any more stable. Don't rely on your Lord and Savior Trump, that a lot of people think he is, to save your butt. You're going to have to save yourself, your friends, your family, your group are the ones that are going to save you when you need stuff. Nobody from the government has ever come down and helped me process a pig. But Shelly's come down and helped me process many of pigs and lambs and chickens and stuff like that. Not that I would invite the government to come help me, because I don't necessarily want them in my life. But the thing is, it shows, when I've needed stuff done, I've called our guys for help. When our people have needed help, we've got it. Jessica, one of Shelly's daughters, had a tree fall down a while back in one of the storms. The government didn't come help her clean that tree up and fix her chicken coop and make sure the chickens were good. It was me and a bunch of the guys from KSL that came over and cleaned that up for her. So no government involvement. Just think how long it would have taken if the government would have came and you would have got the government to do that. You would have had to fill out paperwork. You would have had to have safety briefings, all kinds of stuff, probably fill out paperwork for a grant with FEMA, all this crap. But literally within like 30 or 45 minutes of Shelly calling us, we were up there and started cutting a tree and getting this thing cleaned up. So, it is what it is on that. Miss Sharon. He's saving his own ass just like the rest of them. They have no clue how we live and struggle. Exactly. Let me see. Let me catch up on this. L2 survived. Good morning. Glad to have you here. Let's see. My experimental horizontal wind turbine is the next step for my prep. That sounds pretty cool. I would think about a wind turbine, but we don't have like steady wind here on my place very much. So, Rose, planning on keeping my head above the idiots, checking out alternative energy sources for mobility scooters. I've looked, but don't see an EMP for it. Hey, I wonder, check out, and I don't have an affiliate link for it, but I know the guys at EMP Shield. You could call those guys up and see if they've got something for that. I guarantee, they've got stuff for radios, they've got stuff for your house, they've got stuff for your vehicles, four-wheelers. So check out, I think it's empshield.com. I know those guys there. So check that. That might be a pretty cool deal. And maybe they can make one for you, or maybe one for the four-wheelers will work. And Bill, does anyone know if a big semi-truck alternators put out 24-volt power? Bill, I honestly do not know that. I know a bunch of the military trucks run 24-volt power. Yeah, and Hopkinsville got a lot. I got sprinkles. Yeah, I think we had I was coming from my brother's house yesterday up here to my house, which is like 4 or 5 miles away, and it rained just like 5 minutes maybe and then quit. So it's all these spotty little showers that are popping up and stuff like that. Bill, we got 2.5 inches of rain in a few hours the day before yesterday. All right. Yes, and LP says EMP Shield has one for ATVs, basically 12 to 24 volts. Yeah, and I knew they had it for the ATVs and your cars and stuff like that. I don't know what kind of batteries the scooters are doing, so give those guys a call, and they should be able to hook you up with that. I figure if it works on a 4-wheeler or a car, it should work on one of those, and do it that way. Let's see. The airport said we only had a 1/2 inch of rain. Yeah, we're in that kind of deal where pop-up showers and stuff like that. I thought it was going to rain. We had ball practice last night for my youngest one, and man, it looked like rain the whole time and never got a drop over there. So, all right, let me see. Step number 2. We kind of got off topic, but that's fine. I like talking about other stuff. If we want to talk about other stuff that I hadn't planned, I'm good with that. I don't really care. We can freeform it all we want to. All right. Building your comms plan is the next step. We've defined what we're essentially preparing for and what we're planning our emergency is going to be. The second is build a comms plan. And I'm not talking just radio stuff, but this is, we've had civil unrest is starting. We see it, you're sitting there at your job and you pull up something or you get a notification on Facebook. Hey, this kind of crap is happening. Boom. We've got civil unrest in your local area. What are we going to do then? One of the biggest things to know when you're doing a comms plan is everybody that's going to be coming to your house or that you're planning for, your little group. Morning, Mike Shepard. Your little group. You need to know where they're at on a daily basis. If your wife works at the bank, she's at the same branch every day. So you can make plans for that. If your wife is a teacher, you can make plans for that. So essentially, my wife typically works from home most of the time. She does go out to some facilities sometimes. Like the other day, she went to a facility in Bowling Green. So she tells me that. I kind of know her schedule. She knows my schedule. She knows whose houses I'm working at and stuff like that. So we kind of know every day where we're going to be. And then we know where my youngest son goes to school. He goes to school same place every day, unless it's a field trip. And then when they do field trips, I go on the field trip. So I'm with him if he's ever outside of the school building. So you've got to know where people are at. So, and also you need layers of stuff. Your primary should be cell phones. So, with your cell phones, you can call each other. If I see, I could call my wife and be like, hey, honey, there's some crap going on in Bowling Green. It looks like some protests that are mostly peaceful, stuff like that are going on. So, hey, maybe keep an eye on it. So she's like, she can be, okay, that's cool. I'm at so-and-so facility. As soon as I get done here, I'm going back home and going to stay there. I'm like, okay, cool. She knows where I'm at, what job I'm working on. So typically it's going to be one of those things. If I'm coming from my job site through my youngest one's school or close by, I'm going to grab him and then I'm coming home. So I know where my brother works most every day. Sometimes he's working from the house. Sometimes he's at the office where he works at. He knows how to get back home. My mom lives 4 or 5 miles down the road. So typically she's at home most of the time unless she's running into town to do something. So typically we know where she's at. So it's knowing where people are at. Your cell phone should be your primary means of communication to start off with. If you can't get a call through, most of the time text can go through. So your secondary are your radios. And I'm talking anything from a handheld radio like this all the way up to, and the base stations are over there, and I'm not going to grab those right now. But your base station radios, we keep some handhelds in each vehicle with your mag mount antennas to get a little bit more range out of them. I'm going to work on putting base stations in everybody's vehicle that is going to be talking back and forth. So we're going to work on that, get base stations set up in everybody's vehicle. They don't always have to be hooked up. You can take like an Anderson power pole and put on the end of it where you can plug it in your cigarette lighter, pull it out of the bag, plug it in a cigarette lighter, stick your antenna on the roof of the vehicle, and then boom, you're ready to go. You've got a pretty good comm set up right there. So, and your third choice after your radios, and radios can be, you can run MERS, GMRS, ham frequencies, or heck, you can do CBs if you want to. I mean, CBs still have a place in all this. Everybody's like, well, CBs suck and they're outdated. Yeah, but they still work, honestly. And then also get training on this stuff. Don't just buy a radio from whoever. If you want to buy them from whoever, buy them off Amazon, do whatever you want to. But don't just buy the radio and then set it up there. So do it and have those ready. Get the training for it. Even if it's going to the local ham club and messing with a bunch of sad hams, still get your training for it. And let me see what LP said. Maybe I missed it. What kind of radio, ham or CB, are you setting up? LP, we've got on our website, we've got several different types. I've got to get the 17s up on the site. That's the Baofeng UB17R. And this is the Baofeng 5RM. So they'll work on ham, GMRS, MERS, and your marine. And then our base stations are running the same frequencies, MERS, GMRS, and ham frequencies. I've got a CB. We're not selling any CBs, but I've got a CB sitting in the closet that I bought. I think I paid like $5 or $10 for the thing. So, but those packages are on the website with consultations from Brian and Susan at S&B Homestead Radio. So, and then your third, prearranged drop points where you can leave a message for somebody. If you can't get this, it can be that kind of thing. Hey, I came to the house. Nobody was at the house. I waited for a certain amount of time. I'm leaving a note, and you should do some kind of cryptid note. Don't be like, hey, I waited here for an hour and nobody showed up. I'm headed to mom's house. So leave some kind of note. I've seen people do the, when FEMA comes through and spray paint stuff on the doors and does the code on the doors. I've seen people are like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to spray paint a certain thing. Or if the flower pot is knocked over or something like that, that means I came here, it was not safe, and I went to mom's house. So there's a lot of different things. It's sit down, make these plans ahead of time to where you're not just like, holy crap, I want to sit at the house and wait when everybody else is down at your parents' house hanging out, and you're just sitting up there going, man, I wish somebody would show up. So have some type of communications plan and know where everybody is each day. That's the biggest important thing, of knowing where your people are at every day. LP, yeah, same here on the CB, $5 a yard sale. That's the best place to get them too. Plug them up, make sure they work, and you're set and ready to go. All right, let's see. And Rose, thanks. I've been on the site but didn't see that. We'll look further. Has 2 AGM batteries. Rose, I bet that would work. I bet if you call those guys and talk to them that they can walk you through that. Let's see. Bill, I was going to try to make a video on my windmill. It's pretty simple, but if it works, any dummy can make one. Hey, Bill, make a video for it. And I was also telling you about the 24-volt alternators. Then Bill, I'm still working on the ratio of the size of the turbine size to the pulley on the alternator. I'm still trying to get a minimum of 1,000 RPMs. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to work out right there. But all right. Third thing, set up a meeting point. Figure out, hey, we've got civil unrest. I've talked to my wife. She's here at the house working for the day at her job. I'm going to stop, grab my youngest son, and then I'm heading to the house. That's typically going to be our meeting spot, unless you get something crazy going on, a train derailment. We're fairly close to one of the big train tracks here. Unless you get some kind of train derailment that, you got some kind of volatile chemical, something like that, we've got a backup place that we're going to meet. If the train derails, she's going to get out of Dodge and go somewhere else. So to where that is not affected the immediate area by the train tracks. So our first point is everybody's coming to my house. And then on a smaller emergency, there's another spot that we're going to meet up, And then if you really got a major thing and you can't stay at your house and your place is untenable, then you need a bug out location. And you've got to figure out, hey, everything went down. We can't do this. We can't stay at the house. We need to go ahead and make it to the bug out location. Everybody needs to know where that bug out location is and how to get there without GPS and stuff like that. So that's one of those things, driving those routes. Don't just show them on a map and be like, hey, it's here. Let's go drive this route and if I have 2 or 3 different ways to get there. If your main route is the interstate and the interstate shut down because you've got martial law or something like that going on, you need to know how to get through on the back roads. So plan that stuff out on your meeting points. All right. Number 4, everybody needs roles and responsibilities. Each person needs to have something that they're responsible for and that they can do, because if people don't have responsibilities and something they're in charge of, a lot of times they're just going to freeze up and be like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? If it's planned out, you should do it. Have a person in charge of each of these areas. Have a person in charge of food, security, communications, your go bags if you're going to need them, your weapons, water, medical. Have somebody in charge of all that stuff, and they know, hey, we've got X amount. This is our food storage plan that we've got. Here's our security stuff, how many guns, how much ammo, all that kind of stuff we've got. Our medical stuff, how much stuff we've got on medical stuff. If we need more of this, we need to get this now, and just do a running stock of all that stuff. Our communications, are all our batteries charged? Do our radios work? Have we been messing with those? Do we know that all our antennas are good? Hey, we had a storm last week. Is our big antenna still up? Does it need to be looked at? Or, hey, do we need to have a backup antenna in case we have a big storm and it knocks this out? Have a backup plan for it. I've seen a lot of times. Well, I'll tell you, my HF antenna, we had a storm a while back, and my HF antenna is just a wire antenna that's strung up in between 2 trees. It's like 9 feet off the ground, and it's a real stealth antenna. You can't hardly see it. We had some tree limbs fall a while back. It fell on there, broke my antenna. It just broke where it broke the crimp where it connects back to itself where it was hung up. So it broke that crimp. I didn't realize it until one day I was out there looking at something, and I was like, oh crap, we need to fix this antenna. Luckily, I had some more crimps. I got the end of the antenna, ran it back around, crimped it in, and literally in like 15 minutes, the antenna was back up. So, but the thing is, if it would have broken the actual wire, I would have been out of luck until I could have got a new antenna ordered. So after that, I've got backup HF antennas that I can go out and deploy if I need to. So, then Miss Sharon, biggest problem here is I can't get anywhere without crossing a bridge. That would be, there's a lot of parts where you get all kinds of creeks and streams and rivers and stuff like that. That would be the hardest part. We don't have a ton of creeks and rivers and stuff like that here. So you can get a lot of places. And we do have now, when you got to cross a creek, a lot of the times the creeks here are like a low forge or a low water forge where sometimes they get flooded. So there's a few spots, but typically where we're running at, there's not a bunch of streams and creeks and stuff like that to jump around. And then, yeah, thanks, Miss Sharon. Hey guys, go check out Local Prepper. Local Prepper is usually doing lives almost every day, so I try to catch him, but it seems like I'm always like 45 minutes or an hour late after he's been doing the live. But go check out Local Prepper. Super nice guy. Enjoy talking to him every chance I get to. And then Bill, my brain works numbers and math really easy. One of the benefits of being on the spectrum. Exactly. And yes, I'm a numbers guy too, Bill. I always figure numbers and all that. And LP, yeah, 10 a.m. right after this. I will try to jump on there, LP. After this, I've got to load the truck and run down to my brother's house. Or I got to load the truck, go pick up tile from my brother's house for his shower, and then start working on laying tile today. So he finally picked some tile out. Thank goodness. And Chantel, unfortunately, my kids live too far away. My stepkids live close, but one could care less about prepping, and the other thinks he's Billy Badass and doesn't really need to prep. Chantel, I am sorry. I wish that you had somebody a little bit easier. And then let me see. And then Miss Sharon, yeah, there's a lot of that. Exactly. There's a lot of these people who are just lone wolf it, and I'm a badass and I can do whatever I want to. So, all right, number 5. After we've got our roles assigned to people and those people are taking care of that, plan for defense and security. So if you're going to stay at your place, you need to set up security at your place in a defensive position. You know, security is just as important as food. So, I mean, you can have all the food and the water in the world, but you don't have a way to protect it. You're kind of screwed, unfortunately. So you've got guns and ammo. You've got your guns and ammo. That's your first step on the security stuff. Set up, and you got to have set up shifts with people. You know, you can't stay awake 24/7 watching everything. So you're going to have to take a break. So you're going to have shifts of stuff. And honestly, in any kind of situation, emergency like this, you should be armed. Everybody should be armed. I mean, right now, honestly, everybody should be armed anyway and have a firearm within reach or on their body all the time. So I typically 99% of the time have a firearm on me or within arm's reach of wherever I'm at. So have that. Harden your home and your property. Go ahead and start with this. Start getting defensive positions set up. And have plans to do it. Sometimes you might not want to do some of this. You know, if you've got concertina wire sitting there, you don't always want to have concertina wire strung up around your house, but have it there, know how to put it out and everything. And funny story, one of my buddies bought 2 pallets of concertina wire, and he ended up, it was 2 lots of it. So he's just got God knows how much concertina wire at his house. And I told him, I was like, let's trade out. So we did a little bit of trade for some wire. I came home with a whole stinking truck bed of wire. So I pulled in and started to unload this stuff. And my wife comes down. She goes, why in the hell do you have that wire? And I'm like, heck, I was like, I traded with my buddy for this wire. I was like, it didn't really cost anything. And I was like, I'm just going to store it over here. Everything will be fine. And she looked at me and she goes, if I come home one day and that stuff is strung out in the front yard, we're going to have problems. And I looked at her and I go, you're damn right we're going to have problems if that stuff is strung out in the front yard. And she just looked at me and I was like, the problems you're talking about and the problems I'm talking about are not the same. And so then I explained it and she's like, whatever, just don't stick it out where the kids can run through it right now. I'm like, okay. I was like, it's all sitting on a pallet, ready to deploy when we need it. So have that stuff. Have that stuff sitting there ready to go. I do know my buddy that's got all the concertina wire. He's already got wire up at his house, and he sold it to his wife on, hey, we can put it on the outside of the fence, and then we don't have to worry about coyotes coming through the fence. So he sold it to her on that. I'm not going to put it out unless we absolutely need it right now. And plus, I mean, it's a lot of work to put that stuff up, and I don't want somebody getting tangled up in it that doesn't need to be tangled up in it right now, and then litigations and all that kind of crap. So Also, build alliances with your neighbors. None of the lone wolf crap. The lone wolf guy is not going to last super long in an emergency. A short-term emergency, yeah, he might, but a longer-term emergency, he's not going to last very long at all. So get to know your neighbors. Build up an alliance with your neighbors. Know them. Know who they are. Know if they've got any skills. Don't go out and tell them everything until you've talked to them. So do that. Build friendships. Know everybody on your street. I know pretty much everybody on my street to a certain extent, some better than others. I know everybody if they're an asset or a liability. Most of the people on my street are pretty cool. Well, I like most of them, honestly. So get to know that. And then the last thing, practice your plan. It's great. We could sit out here on the internet. I could sit down at my desk, make all these awesome plans and everything else. But if you're not going to put them in practice, all they are is a piece of paper. You don't know if they're going to work or not. One of the big things you hear all these people say is turn the power off for a week. I don't see any problem in doing that. Turn the Wi-Fi off for a week. Turn the power off for a week or for a weekend. Run and do what you can. Do that. See what's going to happen. See where your vulnerable spots are. I mean, one of the things I've thought about doing is turning most of the power off for a week. We'll probably still keep the refrigerator and freezers going just because I don't want to have to deal with that and worrying about it because we got so much meat in the freezers. Do that. Turn the Wi-Fi off. See, about running. If you need communications, run your Starlink. See how long your Starlink's going to run running on a solar generator. Stuff like that. Plan all that stuff. Run with no power and run with no utilities. Hell, take it as far too as not using your city water. If you're on city water, run off your water storage. So do that. Or if you're on a well, go ahead and run your generator and run your well off the generator. Make sure it's all going to work. Let me see. Miss Sharon, can't afford that wire, but you can relocate wild blackberries to near your perimeter. Yeah. It will be enough to slow people down for sure. And then one thing, what is it? Osage orange, I think is what it is. That stuff is freaking nasty, and it's got big old thorns on it. So that, and if you wanted to, what is it? The thorn trees. You can plant those things, and if you coppice those, cut them down at the ground, they'll bush out, and they'll become a hedge if you plant them close enough. The black locust or the honey locust, they've got hellacious thorns on them, so you can cut them down at the ground and then just weave those things in, and nobody's going to get through that stuff for sure. Melissa, good morning. Glad to have you here. How are you? And Yucca is like going through swords, exactly. And Rose. Some of our neighbors seem to change frequently. Have a few we know. No real community is years back. Yeah, and it does. Everybody that lives on my street, except for one house, and we're on a short little dead end street. Everybody that lives here has lived here for a long time. There's one rental house. And those people have been there for quite a while. So it's not like people in and out all the time, like an apartment or anything like that. Let's see, Forrest. If you have a known problem, people in your immediate area have a plan on how to deal with them. Yes. And that's something we might get in trouble talking about too much, but yes, have a plan to deal with that. I had a chat with one of my friends, and I'm like, hey, what happens when these people move out down the road? They're going to go live with so-and-so, and their house is vacant. He's like, you've got two options. You can either move your people into that house or go salvage anything out of that house you can use and then burn the thing to the ground. And I kind of looked at him. I'm like, why would we burn that thing to the ground? I was pretty naive about what he was talking about at that time. He goes, if you don't burn it to the ground, somebody else is going to move in there that you might not want. He's like, but if you put your people in it, then you've got your people there. He said, if you burn it down, nobody's going to be there. And I'm like, that makes absolute 100% sense. So think about that. Deal with the problems before they become a problem. So then rose. Osage for years has been a great fence rose. Makes great bows. Yes. And then, all right, as far as, running drills and practicing your plan, one of the big things, firearms training. Don't just buy your AR-15 or your Glock 19 or whatever you're going to buy, shoot it a couple times, put it up and be like, okay, cool. I know how it works. I can use it. Use that thing. Go get training from different people. Get the training on it. Also medical training. Go get medical training. I'm practicing what I'm preaching. End of August, I'm going down for immediate action medical attack response. Go get that. Go get your medical training. I don't care who you get it from, but get some of it. Pick up your kids using your plan and setup. Plan some kind of little practice drill. Pull your kids out of school an hour early one day and just plan on doing that. Run the plan on that. Tell your wife, hey, or make it kind of an emergency kind of thing. Tell your wife, be like, hey, there's something going on. We need to grab the kids and do this. Play with that. Make it a little fun deal. The kids will be cool, getting out of school an hour early. And then one of the other things I've seen a lot of people, make sure your radios work and check those. Set the radio up in your vehicle, drive out to different points and do that. See how far you can get with these radios. These radios, everybody says, oh, we can get, 30 miles with these radios. That's a load of crap. So put your radios in the vehicles, practice with those and see how far you can get. That's one of the biggest things. Me and my brother have messed with those in the truck to see how far we could get just on the small handhelds and a mag mount antenna. And I tell you, on a mag mount antenna with and we were doing this with the 5-watt radios. We were getting about 5 miles out of those. So I was super excited about that. So, if you get a bigger base station radio pumping out more watts and just a little bit bigger antenna, hey, you can get a heck of a lot farther. Then let me see. Mike Shepard. Jason, use your anchor with the power shut off to see how long the batteries will hold up. That way you'll know how long you can run and make it farther between charges. Yeah, exactly. I've got that anchor. It's the Anchor Solex 3800. That thing is a freaking beast. It will run a lot of stuff. And heck, it's even got a 220 volt plug. So I did a video on it a while back showing it off. And I'm going to buy a couple more solar generators in the next month or so. It's just finding time to do it and picking out which one I want. But I like the anchors, and I'm going to buy another couple anchors here in the next month or so. Let's see, Bill. A year before we moved to Tennessee, we had a monster ice storm that left 3 households on our property without power for 2 weeks. Give that crap a try while milking and 24 chickens in a breeder. That sounds brutal. That's a lot. We've had ice storms before, and it's been without power for a while. So it's not that much fun. I know from firsthand experience. And listen, Miss Sharon, if you know a first responder or EMT, they're always glad to teach you a few things. Exactly. And medical stuff is not rocket science. A lot of the stuff, basic medical stuff, any person can do with a little bit of training. I can take somebody and show them how to put a tourniquet on, and they can be proficient in a tourniquet real quick with that. How to pack wounds. I can show somebody how to pack wounds, and they can be fairly sufficient in that after just a few minutes. And then after that, it's just reps and sets on it, doing it, making sure you know how to do it and all that stuff. So that's one of the things. Doing it, get your training. The thorns from those locusts can be used in a pinch to hold garments together. I bet they could, Rose. And I tell you what, I got hit. We had a bunch of those on the property, and I found out that if you go out there and just dig them up, the roots will pop up, runners and everything. So what I did, I ended up cutting those trees like 2 to 3 foot off the ground where I could see them and I wouldn't run over them if I was doing something with the tractor. So they started bushing out. You essentially coppice those trees, so they would start bushing out. I would let them bush out, and then I would let the sheep run through, and the sheep would pick every stinking leaf off those. So after I did that 5 or 6 times, the trees were finally like, we can't do this anymore. We're dying. We're done. So they would just eventually give up. But those stinking things, I mean, they've got thorns on them, 4 or 5 inches long. I got hit in the arm one day and poked, and it gave me a stinking bruise, this big bruise spot like the size of a softball. And it was there and it hurt. I don't know if it's got some kind of toxin or something in it, but I tell you what, it hurt for about 2 weeks. And I was like, this sucks. So, Bill, hawthorn trees are amazing hedgerows and medical too. Exactly. So, guys, if y'all got any other comments, I went through all my notes, but that's what I've got on building an emergency plan, getting your family ready for all this stuff. If y'all got anything else, stick it in the comments after the video. I like reading all the comments and everything. We can continue the conversation there. But also, don't forget all the stuff I told you about our workshops. If y'all are interested in those workshops, run grab a spot in those. They're kind of limited spots and everything, but it's good. These workshops are going to be awesome. Let's see, LP, good show. I got to pull the chains. All right, LP, I will jump on there here in a minute and listen to you while I'm loading the truck. I appreciate you being in here. But yeah, guys, get on with your classes. I'll tell you this, the land nav class is going to be limited spots just for safety reasons. And yes, Miss Sharon, guys, hit the thumbs up button for me if you don't care. So get into your workshops. They're going to be limited spots and everything. If you need pre-programmed radios with consultations, that's the big thing. You're going to get a consultation with these radio packages. Jump on the website. Everything is in stock, and you can get those, and they will ship out most likely Monday. I've got to get some of them programmed. I can't program them all the way right now because we're programming them for your area. So it takes me a hot minute to get them programmed. But if you order some of the radios today, we'll probably get those things shipped out on Monday because this weekend will give me time to program it. Forrest, over the weekend, turn your power off for 24 hours, write down all the problems you have, and then solve them. Don't go to the store for 3, 7, or 10 days and see how that works out. Exactly. And yes, Miss Sharon, thanks everybody for joining us. And Bill, I'm minutes away from having to get on the road. Bill, be safe. I appreciate you being here. And Rose, thank you. Thank y'all for being in here. I appreciate everybody. If you need anything, run to the website, first aid kits, and we're going to have a new first aid kit coming out this weekend, and I will show it to y'all on Tuesday. So, guys, I appreciate you being here. I've got to go load the truck and listen to LP and then go pick up some tile and run to my brother's house and lay tile the rest of the day. So, guys, y'all be careful. I appreciate you being in here, and I will see y'all Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. Y'all be careful, and we'll see you. Bye.